I don't make these stories myself. These are incidents that people send to me, written with trembling hands. Some incidents are so disturbing that while narrating them, my voice starts to shake, and some are so haunting that remembering them sometimes makes it impossible to sleep. These are real incidents that have actually happened to people. If you have also been a victim of such an incident and want to share it with me, the email address is available in the description. You can send your story there by writing it down. So, let's move toward today's incident. If you have the courage, if you're not feeling scared, then you can listen to this story. This happened a few years ago when I was living in a small rental house by myself for the first time. Nothing fancy, one floor, tiny basement, and this little back door that stuck sometimes when it rained. My landlord kept saying he'd fix it. He never did. It was a Tuesday night, I think. I remember because I had work the next morning and I was doing that whole I should go to bed early thing while still sitting on the couch scrolling on my phone. Around 10:30ish, I heard a noise from the back of the house. Not loud, just like a soft bump, like something tapped the wall or a cabinet door closed. I didn't think much of it at the time. The house was old. Pipes made noises. The fridge clicked. The wind would rattle the little vent in the bathroom sometimes. I figured it was just the house doing house stuff. A few minutes later, I heard it again. This time it sounded like the back door. Not the door opening, just the handle, or the latch moving. Like someone tried it, and it went back. I actually laughed to myself, because my first thought was, great, the door is being dumb again. It stuck, and then popped sometimes. So I assumed it was that, but then I heard footsteps. And I don't mean the usual, the house creaks when it settles thing. This was that clear padded sound of somebody moving carefully, like heel, then toe, then pause. I sat up straight on the couch and just stared down the hallway, like my brain was waiting for it to make sense. My rational explanation was honestly, maybe my neighbor came over. Sometimes he'd knock on the back door if he needed something, or my landlord was doing something weird. It wouldn't have been the first time he showed up without warning. Still annoying but not panic-worthy. So I called out hello, no answer. I waited a second and called again louder. Hey, who's there? Nothing, not even a sorry. Or it's me. And that's when it hit me that if it was my neighbor or my landlord, they would have said something. Normal people don't just stand there in silence in your house. I got that gross, heavy feeling in my stomach, like my body caught up before my brain did. I stood up and grabbed my phone off the coffee table. I remember thinking, don't be dramatic. You're probably freaking yourself out over the furnace or something. Then I heard a third sound, and it made my mouth go dry. It was a drawer, not even a slam, just the slow scrape of wood sliding out then sliding back in, like someone was trying to be quiet. The back of my house was the kitchen. The drawers were old and kind of loud. You couldn't open them silently, even if you tried. I froze. I didn't move for a few seconds. I was listening so hard it felt like my ears were buzzing. Then the footsteps again, this time closer, like they were coming from the kitchen toward the hallway. I backed up, still facing the hallway, and I went into my living room corner where the lamp was. I didn't turn more lights on because I had this dumb thought that it would make it obvious where I was. Which looking back is not some genius plan. I was just scared and trying to stay small. I texted my friend who lived like 10 minutes away. Are you awake? I think someone is in my house. He responded almost immediately. Call 911. And I swear even with him saying that I still hesitated. That's how much I wanted a normal explanation. I didn't want to be the guy calling the cops because his house creaked. Then I heard breathing. Not like loud movie breathing, just there, a little wet like someone's nose was stuffed up, and it sounded like it was coming from the hallway. At that point, I didn't care about feeling dumb. I dialed 911 with shaky fingers. As soon as the call connected, I started whispering. The dispatcher was calm, asking for my address. asking if I could lock myself somewhere. I told her I was in the living room and I couldn't tell where the person was, but I heard them moving around, and while I'm whispering into the phone, I hear the hallway floor creak again. One step, then another, slow, like whoever it was had realized I was awake and was listening too. I didn't even have a good place to hide. No upstairs, no real closet big enough. The best I could do was back into the little half bath by the living room, close the door and lock it. The lock was one of those cheap ones you can pop with a butter knife, but it was something. I sat on the floor with my back against the door, phone in one hand. The other hand was literally covering my mouth because I could hear myself breathing. The dispatcher was still talking, and I was trying to answer without making noise. Then I heard the kitchen chair move. It scraped across the floor, slow like someone pulled it out to stand on it or reach something. That noise was so normal and so wrong at the same time. A few seconds later, I heard the hallway footsteps stop right outside the bathroom door. And then someone tried the handle, just once, turned it gently, then let go. I held my breath so hard my chest started to hurt. There was a pause, long enough that I started thinking maybe they walked away. Then I heard a soft thud against the door, like a shoulder leaning into it to test it. The dispatcher heard something on my end and asked, "Are they trying to get in?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. I just stared at the doorknob. Like if I stared hard enough, I could keep it from moving. The handle turned again harder this time. The door shook a little, and then out of nowhere the whole house went quiet. No footsteps, no breathing, nothing. It was somehow worse because now I had no idea where they went. I stayed like that until I heard sirens get closer. That sound was the first time I felt like I could breathe again. When the police knocked and announced themselves, I started shaking so bad I could barely unlock the bathroom door. They came in, did the whole clear thing, and told me to stay behind them. They checked every room, opened closets, looked under the bed, even checked the basement. They didn't find anyone inside, but the back door was unlocked, and there were muddy shoe prints on the kitchen floor that were not mine. Like someone had stepped inside and tried to wipe their feet, then gave up. One of the officers pointed at my kitchen drawers. Two of them were slightly open, like they'd been checked. He asked me if anything was missing. At the time I said no because I didn't even know what to look for. Later I realized my spare car key wasn't on the little hook by the counter anymore. It was just gone. The police took a report, told me to change my locks, and asked if I had anyone who might do something like that. I didn't. No crazy ex. No beef with anyone. I was just a normal guy in a normal house. I slept at my friend's place that night. I brought my toothbrush in a plastic bag like I was going on a trip or something. I moved out 2 weeks later. I didn't even fight with the landlord about it. I just wanted to be gone. And even now, I still do this thing where I check the back door lock, then check it again 5 minutes later because I can't remember if I really locked it or if I just thought I did. So yeah, whoever came into my house that night and stood outside that bathroom door, let's not meet.